The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real. Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shay's Paranormal Chat. This is Shay, even though I sound like a dude. This is Shay. And, of course, as always, we have the lovely Miss Kelly McCarville. And I'm very excited about tonight. Tonight we have Toby and Toni Hartford, which I screwed up a couple weeks ago and said, hey, my friends from Mars. They are no longer from Mars. They moved to South Carolina. They're now from South Carolina Afterlife Research Society. There we go. See? I still screwed it up. So it's hard. I'm so used to saying Mars.
I know. Me too.
It is like really hard. So before anybody's let's see. We have a bunch of people already in chat, so we'll do some shout-outs in a few minutes, but we're just trying to get things going here. So, Toby, Toni, how the hell are you?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
We're really good.
Enjoying the nice weather?
Yes, definitely enjoying this nice weather.
Yeah.
It's very different to be calling this winter, and it's January, and no snow.
He's like, it's so cold. It's 50-something degrees here. I'm like, shut up.
We're preparing for an ice storm this weekend.
Yeah.
We're all good with that for the time being.
Right?
Yep.
The first few minutes of the show is so fun trying to get everything set up, isn't it? Why don't you guys talk a little bit about your backgrounds and how you guys got started in this, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. You want to go first? You want me to? All right. So, yeah, I've always had an interest in the paranormal and, ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoot. And it was more, I guess, because my mother was always into it, too. So she kind of got me into it. Must have been about 10 years ago or so now, I had an experience at my work that I was working at. And that kind of really got me into it, wanting to find out more about the afterlife and more about spirits. So back about, I guess, probably about 5 years ago. So actually probably 6 years ago. So something like that. My brother and I were doing a group called Eastern Souls Paranormal. I got in with him and we did a few locations. And then in October of 2015, Toni and I started up the main Afterlife Research Society and been doing that ever since. So what made you get involved in it, babe?
I just had a lifelong interest also. I think maybe just getting both of us together really, we wanted to explore things as a couple, and we just challenge each other to see different cool stuff that we can do and find and share. like our philosophy that we have is that we're not experts on anything. We just take our evidence that we find and share it. We don't try to say everything that we find is fact. We welcome others' opinions, really.
Yeah. It's kind of like, hey, this is what this is. What do you think?
Right.
When we welcome anybody that will try to debunk things and anybody's theories and opinions on stuff. Yeah, we never try to tell everybody that we're experts on anything, because I don't think you really can. Be an expert on anything in this. It's always changing, always finding new things, and that's the fun thing about this, paranormal field, definitely.
And how long have you been investigating then?
We have for about 3 years now.
Yeah, you and I together, but
actively.
You did stuff when you were in high school and stuff.
Yeah,
didn't you? A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I went. What your background?
I went over to Ireland on some archaeological digs and just did some history finding over there and yeah, but we've been actively, going and trying to research and find facts for about 3 years, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 3 years, because we've been friends for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started the Mars thing October of 2015, so that's about 3.5 years.
I guess if you can put, yeah.
All right, so
yeah,
I'm gonna do some really quick shout outs here, and then we're gonna get back into things because I tend to forget to do shout outs at the end. Not since Kelly's been here. Kelly's a really good reminder, but our chatters are really good about being engaged, so I like to say hello in the beginning and the end. So we have, of course, Wolf. We have Miss Jen B. We have Matt Waddell. We have Miss Alita. We have Kelly McCarville. We have Miss Mama Pat. We have Nicole, and we have Miss Kim Purvis so far. So thank you guys for joining. And I see a few other faces that hit the like button, but if they don't say anything in chat, I found out the hard way. Don't say their name on air.
They're lurking.
Yes, they're lurking, but I see them. So what? Let's talk about October, Halloween. You guys did something big on Halloween, didn't you?
This year?
Yeah.
We did. We moved down here, and of course, everything's new, so everything's all new locations for us. We went to. It's called Red Cliff Plantation. It's down in the southern part of South Carolina. It's actually crossed over into Georgia and then cut back into South Carolina to hit this plantation. But that was pretty cool. We went there and whatnot. But that was pretty cool. The home, I unfortunately don't remember the names of the people, but the guy that the slave owner that owned the home, he'd had some relations with a couple of his different slaves that he had, and one of them actually was, got pregnant and gave birth to 2 twins, and they kind of kept that a secret and everything. And while we were there doing that investigation, I had the Ovilus go on, and unfortunately, we didn't have access to get inside of the house, but we did, walk the lands. We were able to get into the slave quarters and stuff like that. But on the Ovilus, we actually got the 3 things in a row. It said 2, and then it said sneak, and then it said babies. So that was kind of interesting.
Wow.
It was almost like the slave was trying to tell her story on things. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, that was interesting for us to do something down here. So
now you yourself is a twin, right?
I am a twin. Yeah.
I've met your brother a couple times too. So now. Now, you are more or less just a paranormal investigator. You don't claim to be psychic. You don't claim to be,
Right.
Do you guys ever have those twin moments? I have a set of twins. So I love asking non-mediums, non-psychics that question. Do you ever have those moments where you're just connected miles apart and you just know?
Yeah, I think we have. Nothing really stands out at the top of my head, of anything, but Yeah, I mean, I think we do have had that before and whatnot. And I mean, it's funny when you talk about like I've never claimed to be psychic, but the more I've been in this field and the more I've opened myself up to it, I mean, I think I've grown immensely. Like I can walk into places now and I can feel and I can sense what's there, and I'm still obviously trying to learn and hone in on some of that, but it's pretty interesting.
The more
I'm always telling people,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. You're reading my mind.
I was just going to say, I'm always saying that everybody's got that intuition. Everybody has the ability to feel and sense those things. It's just opening yourself up to it, allow yourself to experience it. So, yeah,
Right.
the more you do it, the more it'll become second nature to you.
Well, like one of the things that happened just recently before we left New England to move down here, one of the places we wanted to visit one more time was, we've been to Salem, Massachusetts quite a bit. And that's actually where I proposed to Toni, was in the graveyard down there and everything.
How romantic.
Yeah. So,
I love it, actually. And that was not sarcastic at all. I'm like, that's phenomenal. I love that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who would think that was funny. But
yeah, I did it as a Facebook Live video so her mother and grandmother could see it and everything. Yeah. They were all happy.
That is awesome.
But yeah, we went to the House of Seven Gables, and there's another house that's right next to the House of Seven Gables that you can tour. And we went in that house first, really quick, and it was cool. But I get upstairs and I could feel, when I'm up in this room, I could feel something in this one particular area, in this one room. And then we went over to the House of Seven Gables, and that's supposed to be haunted and everything. And we went over there for a tour, and I had actually asked the tour guide, because I had mentioned to Toni about the other house, how that felt, and I mentioned asked the tour guide if they have any spirits happen at the House of Seven Gables. She's like, I never had any paranormal thing happen to me here, but actually at the other house, and she said, the same exact room that I felt it in and everything. She said that's where she always has stuff happening. So that was kind of like a
confirmation for you,
right? A confirmation type thing for me that I wasn't crazy, that I really was feeling, something and everything. So that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
We
excellent.
Let's see. We've done 3 locations together. You, your team, whether it's events, with Nicole and I, the Red Church, the Old Mill, and Parsons Cemetery. Cemetery. Sorry. And the Old Standish Cemetery. Is that what it's called? Sorry.
Yeah. That's one right next to the Red Church, the old Red Church. Yep.
So when you guys are out doing your investigations, what type of equipment do you typically use?
We use, obviously, everybody has the voice recorders, which we like the voice recorders because, that picks up a lot of cool stuff. But we got, kind of got like too much gear to really, because now at this point now too, it's just her and I doing it, and I guess so we got quite a bit of gear. But we use the Kinects, which that's still. I've had that for about a year now, but that's still kind of like a new thing to us. And in the beginning, it seemed like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. But now I've kind of like debunked a lot of stuff that I originally thought.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with
it. Yeah, they're fascinating, and I'd love to get my hands on one and experiment with it, but I'm going to reserve judgment. So
yeah. And then we use the K2s and the EMF detectors. We use the laser grids. We have different night vision cameras, and we do recordings. We'll record. We've got like 8 cameras that we record off of and stuff.
You used to have the Ovilus.
Yeah, I used to have an Ovilus. I got rid of it.
No, you guys, these are the guys that introduced us to the blind.
Yeah.
I forget what you guys call it. The blind.
Well, there's the one version of it's called the Gunsfield experiment, where you have the just the white noise coming through your headphones with blindfold on, and that kind of opens you up more.
Yeah, but the other one, I'm talking.
And then the other one
box.
is. Yeah, I don't know if there's the actual name of it, but you have the headphones on with a spirit box playing. You can have a blindfold if you want, and and people outside of, in that room, whatever, can ask questions, and the person with the spirit box pumping through the headphones, they may get a response to it. So
Right.
they're just calling out. They can't hear what's being said by the people, the questions being said, and they just kind of spit out what they're hearing through the spirit box. And that's really amazing. That
Yes.
because when you listen to a spirit box, you're kind of anticipating what you think it's going to say.
Mhm.
So I think sometimes people think it's really communicating with them when it may not be. But with this kind of experiment, then the person has no idea what's even being asked, and then when it corresponds to what's being asked, it's pretty interesting.
I was dead
Yeah.
set against spirit boxes, like
Mhm.
dead set. And then we did this experiment. It wasn't even me; it was my sister. Well, we both did it, but my sister did it at it was the Red Church, I believe. She'll answer. It was either the Red Church or the Old Mill. I'm not sure which. And she can't hear. You can tell she can't hear anything.
Right.
And
Right.
she's, and so we're going along with it, and finally at the end he's like, well, if that's really you, can you say Mississippi? And she's like, miss me? So I'm like, what the?
So
That's
I
pretty
think
close.
that was with Travis's group, right? You guys with
Yeah,
Travis?
Travis. It was
That
the
was
Red
at the-
Church. Nicole's
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
We've done that on a couple investigations that I've been out on as well in the group I was with. We've used the spirit box, but then we've also used the Spiritus application to do it as well. So it's not quite as much noise as like a spirit box is, but it still works the same way. It is pretty phenomenal to know that, the person with the sensory deprivation cannot hear anything. They don't know what questions are being asked, and yet the right answers are coming out. So It's crazy. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we did it at a couple of years ago. It was my first trip at the Parsonsfield Seminary, and we did it there. And David Severn, who was part of the group, David, yeah, he was. I actually had the headphones on, and I was just spitting out whatever I was hearing. And I guess at one point he was asking, whoever he was talking to, he was asking. I guess I said I'm in control, and he said, "What are you in control of?" And then I said, "You," and he got a little freaked out by that because I was just basically directly responding to him, which is crazy. He didn't know what to think.
That was the same one that locked you into the room, right? When you were doing that.
Yeah, we were in it's over on the girls' side upstairs on the second floor. And this one room, we're in there, and we're doing a spirit box session in there. And I said, "What am I doing?" And I'm actually waving the door back and forth. And it said, "Slam it or shut it," or something like that came through the spirit box. So I shut the door. And we continued on with our session. And then for about 5 minutes. And then we went to go leave the room. And the door actually had no doorknob on it.
I remember
the doorknob was missing. And it had kind of like tricked me into shutting that door, and we were locked in there. We had to wait about 5-10 minutes for somebody to get us out from the other side.
Moment of panic.
Yeah, we had one girl that was really starting to get panicky, and we had to open the window for her so she could stick her head out the window because she was getting a little upset and concerned. So that was pretty cool.
So
go
ahead.
I think, one of the most important things, though, in all of this is that, and I do this 99% of the time, is just, being respectful to whoever you're communicating with. And,
absolutely.
Typically it was a living person and very real. You see, like, the ghosts, Ghost Adventures and stuff, and Zach getting all, screaming and yelling at it. We really don't do that at all. If I'm not getting much, even if I know there's something there and it's not communicated with me, sometimes I'll do a little bit to try to rile it up a little bit, but that's about it. But we typically never do that. So.
The listeners know, the normal listeners know that if, number one, I've worked with you, and I've worked with you more than once, and I would, in a heartbeat, work with you again. That says a lot because these were human beings,
right,
and they deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and anything less is not acceptable to me.
Well, you
Yeah.
wouldn't walk in and talk to a person any
I
differently.
might.
So
I might. Somebody else's
yeah,
house, I would
okay.
walk in and I would, but a dead person, you know. But
Okay, I
that's not to say
retract my statement.
everybody uses that, and I see why. But me, I would. I'd be like, "Hey, bitch, what's up?" But I wouldn't do that to a dead person.
I might.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm like, that's a term of endearment to me. Like me, Kelly. Hey, bitch.
Yep.
So does anybody that's like listening right now have any questions about anything, or nothing's popping up, or?
I think I saw one somewhere, but I lost it. So if you have a question, guys, re-ask it. The chat's going.
I missed
quick
it.
For me.
So what has been your best experience so far, or what's your best piece of evidence that you've ever gathered? Sorry, I used the evidence word, didn't I?
No, that's fine. One of the cooler things that we got, you know how the spirit box operates? It scans through in like 1/10 of a second. So you know, a lot of times you just that type of stuff. We were at a private home in it was in New Hampshire, but I don't remember the name of the town. It was down near Somersworth, New Hampshire, but I can't remember the name of the town. But we were down there because it was actually a friend of mine's mother had passed away, and he had a lot of her items there, and he was having some activity at his house, and he wanted to know if it was her or not. And before we went there, I actually did some research on the area, like I usually do anyway, and I'd seen where a guy was struck and killed on the railroad tracks out front of his house, and had died. And so at one point in the night, you know, we had gone down to the railroad tracks, and it was me and some other members in our group at the time was Timmy and Phil. We were down on the railroad tracks, and we heard it come through the radio plain as day. You know, we knew it said a sentence, but we didn't know exactly what it said. So when I went back to play it through the spirit box, we had a voice that said, "I am see-through, but I can see you, though."
Oh,
cool. It was a full sentence through that spirit box. I mean, I've got it on my page somewhere, kicking around back, because this is back a couple of years ago. So that's probably the best like audio evidence we've gotten, you know, as far as that goes. And then we have a picture of at the Admiral Perry Inn up in Freiburg, Maine. There's a picture of a thermal picture that we took of looks like a guy standing sideways, and he's about 5'7". We went back through to check see the height of it, and it's black in the center and then dark blue. So it was whatever it was very cold. So that was a really cool piece of a picture. And another one was at the Red Church, the cemetery there, where someone had taken a picture of a lady standing out in the graveyard, and it's like 35 degrees and raining, and it was on at Halloween. And in the background, you can see something way in the background. When you blow it up, it literally looks like a girl standing there with a dress, maybe missing a leg or something, and the eyes are actually glowing. It looks like it's pretty crazy.
Oh, wow!
I think I saw this. Yeah.
And even that looks to me that looks fake, and I was there when it happened. I couldn't recreate it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I mean, for the average person on the outside looking at it, they're like, "Oh, that's fake. These guys are just faking this stuff." But I think that looks too good to be real. You know what I mean?
It's funny how even when something happens to you, you question if it's real, though. You know,
right.
What you had said is I'm see-through, but I can see you. Reminded me, and I don't know, Shay, if I've ever shared the story with you, but nobody hate me. I've used Ouija boards throughout my entire life. I'm fine. But we were teenagers and we were using a Ouija board, and the spirit kept saying, "I can see you. Can you see me? I can see you. Can you see me?"
Really?
And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, but then it started talking what we thought was just gibberish, and we were writing it down as we were going. And so we still wrote it down, even though we thought it was gibberish. And afterwards we were looking at it and we're like, that almost looks like German. And so we started trying to find somebody who spoke German. And it just happened that I grew up about 10 miles from an Amish settlement. And so we ran into some at the park right by them, and we asked them, can you read this? And they said, most of it is just gibberish. It's little German words here and there. They said it is an old dialect, but this phrase right here says, "I can see you," in German.
Oh.
So it's just kind of like, whoa, okay.
German sucks. I took it for about 6-7 months. It sucks.
German
Sorry.
sounds like you're clearing your throat the whole time.
It is the hardest thing because what you say and what you write are two different things to learn. It's not the
Yeah.
same. I've taken multiple foreign languages and I was out. All right, so we have a question, and I find this one interesting. There's probably more, but I'm kind of
I'll go look. You ask.
Yeah, Cynthia, which I think is Cynthia. Is this Cynthia from Raven Rose?
Yes.
Paranormal?
Yep.
All right, I thought so. I like checking. Now, when I ask this question, please talk dumb to me because I do not use them. So you got to be very clear on this. She wants to know what ITC devices do you. Well, number one, do you use ITC devices, and if so, which one do you like best?
We really don't have anything. I mean, we have like the SB7s and stuff, but we don't have really any other devices like that.
I get so confused on what ITC means. Is it just the apps? Is it everything? Is it
it's transcommunication.
But does that include swear boxes? Does it include Ovilus? Does it?
Yeah.
Did you just say swear boxes?
ITC is actually like a brand called ITC, and I'm not sure if that's what she means or she just means
no,
anything in
because I
general.
hear people say it all the time. ITC,
Right.
like what was that?
The Ovilus, and then
the thing Kelly was just talking about.
Spiritus.
The Spiritus
and Necrophonic. Yeah.
I haven't.
Spirit boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use apps, so I don't know. Cynthia, if you're listening, clarify that question a little bit more.
The things with the apps too for like the phones is that your phone
just in general, she said,
yeah, your phone has GPS on it. So I've used a couple of the in-app stuff on my phone a couple times just to try it out. And the problem with that is if you're at like a railroad station and you're trying to use your phone with an Ovilus hooked to your phone, then it's going to know where you are. And so in my mind, I'm thinking that's probably going to... So a lot of times you'll get stuff like conductor or, train, and you're like, oh my goodness, but you got to remember that your phone is on a GPS locator, so they know where you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it goes that in depth or not, but that's what would be my thought.
Well, and I can see it almost doing that. And for the ones that spit out actual words or have words programmed into it, I could absolutely see that. The two that I actually use, they don't have any words programmed into it at all. It's just phonetic sounds. Okay. So if it was going to say railroad or conductor, it's stringing together multiple faux sounds to have those words come out. So that's why I like those ones better. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you should always put it in airplane mode too. So
yeah. I've never tried those. A whole lot of anything for apps on the phone. To be honest with you,
neither have I.
Those are the only ones I use.
But all I know is if I search something on Google, it comes up on Instagram. It comes up on fucking. There goes my first fuck for the night. Second one.
That's because they're watching. They're always watching, aren't they, Gen B?
It comes, it comes up everywhere. I don't know how it works on phones, and if I don't know how it works, I'm not going to use it. And I don't disregard what you do. I don't.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but I'm not saying it doesn't work. I just don't. Yeah. I don't personally use much with my phone for apps or anything. So
yeah, I don't either. That's just how I am. But I'm also I'm dumb. I don't pretend to be smart. I'm a kind of smart in some ways, but I'm mostly dumb. So if I don't know how something works, I'm not going to use it, period. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
So, whoops, I kind of...
So the other question that had been in chat was the one where Pat went into my head and roamed around and pulled it out. I've already asked it. Mama Pat's a pain.
Oh.
What was the most... as you were talking, she typed it in and chat's 30 seconds.
Yeah, she likes to hang out in my head. It's a scary place. She shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So what has been your favorite location to investigate?
What do you think? Well, I mean, we've been lucky that we've been able to investigate a ton of different places. And like, I'm a huge history buff, and she is too. We really like the history part of it and everything too.
Yeah, I'd say there's a different, if you categorize it, like the coolest history place we went to was Lizzie Borden, definitely, just to like sit in like the parlor of like where it happened and all that. Maybe different categories, I guess. Like the scariest place I've ever been is definitely at Ray's place.
Oh, the Mill Agent's
The Mill
house. That's in
Agent's house,
Vassalboro.
Yeah, that place was probably one of the only places that I've ever like been for real scared.
And then,
Not only did these guys get engaged in Salem,
I was
Mass.
just going to bring this up.
Yeah, they got married at the Red Church, which is also a haunted location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the, like, you know, he's talking about favorite places. That's, to her and I, that was like one of our favorite places, and that's why we got married there. I mean, we have donated a ton of money to that place through our, you know, we do a lot of public events over there, and we were like one of the biggest fundraisers every year. So that's probably my favorite place, the Red Church, even though it's not super active. I just always really loved the location and everything, and loved it more after we got married in it and everything. So.
Well, yeah, it's sentimental. Hey, let me tell you, that's one of the few places Nicole got with the flare. She got a picture of somebody sitting in a pew, and let me tell you, there was nobody sitting in that pew, and she got it that night. So there's something there.
So we were lucky this year actually. For 2018, we had some pretty cool places we went to. In February, we actually I was able to. I figured it all out to be able to go down. So basically, we flew to Baltimore from Maine down to Baltimore we got there Saturday morning, and we spent the whole day Saturday roaming through Baltimore. Went to Edgar Allan Poe House, and then we went to the Admiral Fells Inn, which is a super haunted location down there that I'd read about. And so we were able to spend the night there. We did an investigation there while we were there, and that was a really cool place. Throughout the night, her and I both, the next morning we talked about it. It was unbelievable. It was when we were trying to sleep, you could constantly hear people walking, which, I mean, that could have been people in the hotel, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of people in the hotel either. So, and that place is basically, I think, 7 different buildings all attached, old buildings, and they've attached it all to make it into a hotel. But then we also her and I had the same exact feeling, like somebody was standing there watching us. All hours of night, we'd wake up and turn our head to go look towards the window like somebody was standing there. So I think there was definitely something there. That was pretty cool. So we got to do that in February, and then April we rented out the whole Lizzie Borden house for the night. And
I want to get there too.
Yeah, we had some of our paranormal friends all come with us, and it was an awesome time. It was a good time. We were in the dining room area where they did. I guess they actually did the autopsy of Abigail there in the dining room.
Ew.
Yeah, and we were in there doing a spirit box, and I said,
I'll be right back, guys.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry.
And I said, wow. I said, who hurt you? And as plain as day through that spirit box, the voice said Lizbeth, and. Like anybody that knows anything about the Lizzie Borden house, she actually went by the name Lizbeth later on in life and everything. She went by, and even her grave says Lizbeth. So that was pretty cool that he didn't say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really awesome. And then throughout the night, it seemed like we stayed in Abigail and
Father
Andrew's room. That's the room we stayed in that night, and it was seemed like we had something was happening all night, but.
See, Shay is always talking how she wants to come to Iowa because we have all the cool places. I don't know. East sounds pretty awesome. You know, there's a lot of places.
The Northeast is awesome. It really is. I mean, I had never, I kind of take it for granted what we were able to do up there. And we went to like Houghton Mansion out in Western Massachusetts, and we got to do so many cool places up there. And then now where we are now, I'm having trouble trying to get into places because
we're freaking Bible Belt.
Yeah, we're in the Bible Belt.
Right. Yeah.
People are really against it, and I'm having, I'm really cautious about who I talk to about what we do. Just anybody to get offended, and So it's been different for sure down here. I think definitely the Northeast had more locations for us. I mean, I basically for my job, I was a district manager for a company, and I just drove around Maine and New Hampshire. That's what I did for my job, just constantly on the road, and I would be able to spot out cool locations.
Scope them out, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd email or call them, and 9 out of 10 times they'd be like, "Yeah, come on over." But down here,
Sure.
it's completely different. I'm having trouble getting into anything down here. We got something set up with the old Charleston jail that we're going to be doing here in a couple months, and
That sounds fun.
yeah, that place is really cool. You have to look it up. It's pretty nice.
Awesome.
And stuff. And then we're trying to get into this. It's an old battleground up down here that's about from during the Revolutionary War. Actually, the Americans took out like 200 British soldiers died on the land over here, and about 40 Americans died during that battle. But we can actually tent out at the battlefield, and so that's what we're going to do: tent out overnight and try to do stuff there. So
Fun. So Mama Pat in chat is asking, do you guys research the history to confirm what you find on your investigations?
yeah, typically, and it all depends on what we're there for. I mean, a lot of times, especially if it's somebody, a private resident that wants our help, then I'll do some research on the place. If it's something that I want to just see what we can pick up, then I won't do research on the place. But if it's somebody that needs help, then we'll research. We'll go back to see what kind of Native Americans were in that location, if there was any, and or if there's been any tragic deaths or anything in the area.
We've actually been pretty lucky. We've had a lot of places we've gone to. We've actually had the people, historians, and actual people that really know about where the places are. We've gotten in with them, so we've gotten really lucky, actually, that people like Toby, and he talks well with people, and people like him.
He's a charmer.
Yes,
for some reason.
So do you guys do your research before you go into the location then, or is it afterwards when you're trying to validate the information?
It's definitely sometimes either or. Actually, Toby sometimes doesn't like to before.
Right.
You don't want preconceived stuff going in.
Right.
Or whatever.
But when it comes to helping a family, I'm more
right.
Then I try to do my research ahead of time so I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a little different than going into other locations. But I always like to ask that question because for me, with the way that I do things, I typically go in blind. But there are definitely times that I'm like, darn, I wish I knew the history so I could know what I was sensing. But so what is I just totally blanked. Sorry, I was reading chat and I totally lost my question.
So I was mentioning what was some of the other stuff we did this year. So we did the Admiral Fells Inn in Baltimore. We got to go to Salem. We did Lizzie Borden. We had our first. We actually did a public event on Swan Island where my brother and I, we had rented out the island for the night, and it was basically it's a ghost town now. And
really,
yeah, we were able to. We had, I think we had about 30 people there with us, and we got to go scour the whole island. There's still houses on the island. It's like 2 or 3
we
houses.
were going to go to that until we found out we were stuck there all night. That the boat left at a certain time, and you were stuck there. I'm like, fuck no.
I don't want to go.
Didn't the
a whole island
stranded on Swan Island give it away a little bit?
That should have been a giveaway, Shay. I mean, he has a point there.
You missed a good time.
I don't message
awesome.
people much. I really don't, and it's one of my downfalls. I'm like very far and few between texts. So if I text you and I'm texting Toni, I'm like, Toni, are we really stuck there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't. Nope, sorry. Nope. I was scared. Nicole and I was scared. I was. Nope. I can't be stuck anywhere.
Oh, and I'm like really giddy about it. I think it sounds phenomenal. A whole island that's totally a ghost town, and it's like the plot of a horror movie.
It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. We had tents out and everything, and then I just recently at that point I had just gotten a drone that shoots 4K video and everything. So I was able to fly that over the island, shoot some cool video for the island and everything. So that was cool.
So we had another question in chat. They said, what would you say is something that is a can't miss in Salem?
Can't miss in Salem.
Oh, the graveyard, definitely.
Definitely the graveyard is really cool, right in the center of town. And then on the outskirts of town now, they over by the Walgreens, that's where they've just found in the last couple of years that's the actual hanging tree was there. Where at all along through history, they kind of had the park out there. It's called the Hallows or whatever, and that's where they said the hanging tree was. But then now they've actually discovered it's behind the Walgreens, and they've got a little memorial they've just built over there now too. But that was her and I. We hadn't been there yet because we had gone down a few times trying to find it. We hadn't been able to find it, and our last trip, I said we're finding this thing, and we found it. It's pretty cool. It's off on a little side street, and that was pretty interesting.
There's a little place on the outskirts of Salem. I personally like littler, less known places. Not littler, but less known places. There's a cemetery, St. Mary's Cemetery. It's technically in Salem, but it's on the outskirts. And let me tell you, that is a place that should really be checked out more. We've been there, I think, at least 3 times. Again, I'm just one that likes to do places that are lesser known. No.
Well, we did a my friend Steve and Christina and what's his name?
Corey.
And Corey. They had invited us down. Actually, it was the weekend that I proposed to her. We went down, but they want us to come down and check out Steve's house, and it's literally like a block from the hanging tree. Not that. So he has a lot of activity there, and but it doesn't really have a lot to do with the witch trials. It's actually so Steve's out back. He's digging up his backyard they're going to put an in-ground pool or something, and they came across a gravestone in the ground under the ground that had fallen over, got buried with dirt and stuff. And it's of this woman. I can't remember the name of the lady, but so I guess he's had seen her a few times traveling through his house in one certain area all the time. So I guess they believe she's buried underground outside of his house. So he didn't do a full in-ground pool. He just did an above-ground pool, and we were getting the most weird responses to the spirit box. One was basically she said
underwater.
She was underwater and stuff. It kept saying underwater, like, oh my god, this poor woman's buried underneath
under
this
the
pool. And yeah.
Well, she had to face that too, the drowning or the tree, and now she's underwater again.
Right, and then there was what was the other thing she said? Oh, I had an EVP where I asked something like, where are you? And said, I'm out back, and that was as plain as day too. That came through and said, I'm out back, which is really, really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Being at a private location right in middle of Salem. So.
Well, you got scratched at that one too.
Oh, and I did. Yeah, that's right. I got scratched at that one on my back, and I said, "What's on my back? What's on my back?" And we were filming at the time, so lift up my shirt, and you literally could see my skin start turning red, and it got bright red, and then within a minute or two, it pretty much had gone away. But I felt that scratch me. That wasn't fun.
Oh no, she's there.
But yeah, we've been pretty lucky that with my job, with my previous job, I was able to get weekends off once in a while, and she was able to get some time off and stuff too. That we were able to do a lot in Maine, and now it's completely opposite.
Right.
What are there?
So what's on your
places you want to check out in South Carolina now?
I was just telling her about we've got something going with the old Charleston jail. You should look that up on Google that. That's an awesome location. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple months. And then there's also a battleground north of us, about an hour north of us, that during the Revolutionary War, not the Civil War, during the Revolutionary War, there was 200 British soldiers that were killed there during the battle and about 40 Americans. And we're going to tent out there and spend the night on that location of the battlefield. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then we went to, what is that church we went to over here? Do you remember?
Trinity Episcopal.
The Trinity Episcopal Church over here in over here in Columbia, that during Sherman's March, I don't know if you know anything about the history, but General Sherman came across and basically lit everything up from Atlanta to the coast. And he came through Columbia, and you can actually see on the outside, what is that called? The tomb the tomb that they put people in before, if the ground's frozen, they'll put them in a tomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was on the side of that, you can actually see where during the Civil War, where they tried to break into that tomb and everything, there's still pieces of the brick that's broken and fallen off, and so that's kind of cool. And they basically torched the whole city, but they didn't touch that church because they thought it was a Catholic church, and he told his wife he wouldn't burn down Catholic churches, and it wasn't even a Catholic church, but he thought it was, so he didn't burn it down. But everything else got burnt down around here.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's
The whole history of
crazy.
everything.
So what's on your list?
What's
Go ahead.
that?
What's on your list overall? I mean, what's your bucket list of places you'd like to visit anywhere?
I'd like to go to New Orleans.
It's amazing.
I
Yeah.
would love to go to New Orleans. I like to see some witches down there and see some voodoo and hoodoo and all that. Not partake. I'd like to see, but
And we were actually, I was trying to set up a trip to go to Ireland and spend there was a 9 or 10 day trip or something, and you could spend these old castles as part of the trip.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 or 4 nights in old castles and everything, and tour Ireland. That I wanted to do that at some point too, but
My
Tony-
oldest daughter went to Ireland a couple of years ago for her senior trip. She's about to be a junior in college now, but she went to Ireland. I was so jealous. I'm like, oh.
that's quite a class trip.
Well, my
really.
youngest daughter this year in April is going to Spain and where is she going? France and Spain. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other bucket list places. I don't know.
I interrupted Kelly again.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Gettysburg. Actually, Gettysburg's on our list too. So
Ooh,
I had a trip set up.
Gettysburg's on my list. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I had a trip set up originally when we were back in Maine. I was setting something up for April where I was trying to get a bunch of, but 10 of us to all go down. And I had it worked out where it was going to cost, I think it was about $200 a person. But you go down and I had a house down there that I could rent out. There was a Civil War, basically a Civil War house, and they have paranormal activity there. And so we were going to go down and do an investigation overnight, and then tour the battlefields and stuff. So that's kind of been on my bucket list too. But
Gettysburg is neat. It's, I don't know. It's just, you walk through there and it's like you can see it happening still. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, you have all this energy and all these worlds, like present and past and everything in between collide, physically and mentally, and you have the people that still dress up and reenact things, and then you have us, everyday people. I've never been, but I'm just saying,
So then the spirits.
You have the residual, and then the hauntings, and then you have everyday people. It's like everything collides, boom, in this one spot. And I shouldn't be so excited because so many people died, but it's still, I guess, as paranormal investigators, that's something we struggle with because we get excited about these places until we remember, wait a minute, people died here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but in a way, we're keeping that alive. We're keeping that memory alive, and so I would assume people would appreciate that.
Yep. Well, that's the thing too. Is all the reenactment stuff going on, I'm sure that just drums it up because it's the spirits there. They still think they're still living, and they see this going on, and they're just I'm sure that really activates it, a lot of it.
I wonder how often people see a reenactor, or they think they see a reenactor, and it's not.
Right.
I hear stories of quite a bit.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
Yeah. That, like, they were like, why
Especially-
is this one reenactor over here? And then like, wait a minute, that's not a reenactor. So
I mean, I've heard stories of like up by, I think they call it Round Rock or something out there in Gettysburg, and where they see whole troops and everything, they just assume it's reenactors, and then it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see
like
much.
cannon sounds and gunshot
Yeah.
sounds that are residual that you just
Well,
hear.
that's like the battleground that I want to go camp out at down here. That's what the claim is. You hear gunshots and cannons going off all hours of the night, basically, and residual sounds and stuff. So we're hoping to get there and capture some of that stuff. Should be good.
I can't wait to see the stuff. Like, if we're
And I
not Nicole says if we're not excited about it, then why do? Of course, I get excited about it, but then there's a split second where I feel bad because I remember, but I do get excited about doing these places, but then I remember, even though I pretend I don't have a heart, I really do.
Well, yeah.
Small, it's small, but I do have a heart.
It's shriveled and it's green. No, I'm kidding. But I get what you're saying. If somebody comes up and says there was a family of 6 that was murdered in their house, you are not supposed to respond with, "Ooh,
cool.
That's cool."
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, I got an EVP if somebody needs help, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it is cool, but yeah, I'm like torn. But it is cool, but because of what we do and why we're doing it, it's cool.
Right. Yeah.
We're not just thrill seekers. We're looking for data to collect. Some of us.
Right.
Other people out there are just thrill seekers, but myself,
I want to share the stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what we do a lot of is, I'm sure you see, is that we videotape everything. So we try to, document what we're doing.
They videotape so much. I'm like, I'm in awe, but because I'm just like, I don't want to be on video, but that takes away some of the purpose. But I don't want to be on video.
So speaking of,
go ahead.
I
was just gonna say, with all the video though too, is so much time involved, because if you figure you got 8 cameras that you've filmed for, even if you just go somewhere for 4 hours, now you're talking that's 2 hours worth of video you got to go through,
right?
4 cameras times 4 hours plus the audio plus the ITC plus whatever else you're using.
Plus the pictures plus anything. Oh yeah. And it's not like you can fast forward through things. You have to listen and watch it all minute by minute.
Dude,
so
I still have people laugh at me. Last summer, what are we in? What month are we in? I can't look. I don't have a calendar. January. I still have stuff to go through from over the summer where those people started having sex, even though they knew and asked us about the video cameras, asked us about the audio, and they still had sex twice, not just once. I still have to go through that, and I'm like, oh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's just horrible. That's just horrible. Ghost porn. So with all.
Go ahead. Kelly, let's change it.
I just keep trying to ask him because I want to know. So with all the recording and the videos and everything that you do, where can people find that? Where can they go to see the stuff that you've done over the years?
Yeah, we do. Switch.
We do a lot on. I try to do a lot on Facebook because it's easier access for people, I feel like. And then, so if they go to the South Carolina Afterlife Research Society Facebook page, there's videos on there, and then there's also our YouTube channel, which is still under Maine Afterlife Research Society. That YouTube page, I think there's about 20 videos or so on there, and then we actually have a video on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. Otherwise, you have to rent it. It's like $1.50 or something. But there's a video on Amazon of us from the Red Church.
Okay, so I'm
Can we interrupt? Sorry.
Sure.
Caitlin just came in.
Yeah.
What? Oh God, did I miss? No. What?
Caitlin. Now, Caitlin has dreams of going to college in other places, but she got into Keene, which is not even an hour away from me, with the scholarship.
Wow.
She just handed me the paperwork, which means my baby will be close to me.
I'm not going there.
I know you're not going there, but I can be hopeful.
I'm just excited that I was accepted into my first college.
They can hear you.
Congratulations.
If I don't get in anywhere else, I have a backup plan.
All right, I love you, and
Perfect.
I'm proud now. Go away.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a backup, so she might be close. I might not have to move to Stockholm.
Phone calls to the schools further away, Mom.
Yeah.
She's not interested anymore.
Yeah. She just applied everywhere, which is smart, but she wants to go further away. But sorry, go on. Yeah, paranormal.
Just to double check. Because I typed this into chat.
Sure.
So it's the South Carolina Afterlife Research Society on Facebook and the Maine Afterlife Research Society on YouTube.
Yeah, and then we have one video on Amazon. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. And it's from the Old Red Church, which that was my first attempt to putting something on Amazon. So the audio is, I guess, it's a little sketchy. My goal was I was going to put all my videos on Amazon, but they made a new policy when I went to put this one on. The first one on was that you had to do closed captioning on everything. So you have to manually punch in, type in everything that you're saying.
Oh,
And that took a ton of time just to do that one. I did the 45-minute videos on there, and that's it. So eventually I'm trying to get all my videos put on Amazon, but not yet.
I'm just reading. Kelly, you're awesome. Can I just say that?
Only except I keep interrupting. I'm like, wait, I have to do this while I'm thinking of it.
I feel bad for people that have never listened to the show and come on, but this one's gone kind of smoothly. Most people are like, what am I getting myself into after the fact? Well, not my fault you said yes before you listened to the show. They know me in person. They know I'm nuts.
They knew what to expect, what craziness.
And I'm sick, so this was like low-key compared to some.
Right.
I do have to say, not only, I have to throw this out there, we're getting to the hour, so we're going to start. If you have any questions in chat now, guys, ask them now, because this was only supposed to be an hour show. We're hitting the hour. So any questions, get them out there. The Parsonsfield Seminary hit my top 5 list that we did last week.
Nice.
And I have talked about some of the stuff non-paranormally. They might get this. Kelly, you won't. That did
non-paranormally.
Not happen, but I did not mention names on other shows. But it actually hit my top 5 because of the paranormal stuff that happened. It was quite an interesting night for paranormal, for people, for in general.
Yeah, no, that place, we've been there a few times, and it pretty much never disappoints. That place has got a ton of energy. You can feel that all the kids have been through there. You can feel the energy going through there for sure.
I can't tell if they have no idea what I'm talking about, or if they're trying to change the subject.
I got a feeling I know what you're talking about, but
remember, on top of everything else, we saw a full moon that night.
Right?
Yeah, see? I've never mentioned names, and I never will, but, but paranormally, that place, if anybody gets a chance to go, that was our first chance. It's all over Mars's YouTube. It's all over ours.
And our friends up at from this group of girls
207 or something.
Yeah, the 207 Paranormal Girls.
Yep.
They have a video there that made it onto the local radio station or something's page, and where the ball moved up in the bell tower.
Yeah, it was
cool.
quite an interesting night. So
I will say, I mean, with all the paranormal stuff, obviously, her and I, we both love history. We really love doing this, but I mean, my goal and her goal that we've always tried is to try to be open to everybody, and we try to help other teams as much as we can. We've always, try to be as friendly as we can. We invite a lot of people to come to our events and everything, and just have a good time. And just for everybody that's loves the whole paranormal. We want to be around those people.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing about what we've done is that we're able to meet a ton of really nice people and everything. You included.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and then you met Shay too, but
yeah,
and then
you beat me to it. Damn it.
Yeah. So no,
my radio
been a good
persona.
run.
My radio persona is not always the same as my investigating persona,
Mhm.
and I like it that way. I keep people guessing. So
It's the multiple personalities.
I do.
So did you have any questions or no? You had any more questions?
No, nothing yet. So I'm gonna
Okay.
I am gonna throw out some shout-outs, last-minute shout-outs here because Toby worked like 16 hours today. And
No. I'm on a 69-hour work week. Today was only 11
I was
hours,
giving you
so.
credit.
A mere 11 hours, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna throw out some shout-outs and I'm gonna do a quick of what's coming up. And then we will let these guys go. So if you have any questions, get them in really quick right now because after that, you have to follow their page. You'll have to follow their page and ask them in person.
Speaking of our page, though, our page is so active and popular because Tony spends so much time just stuff on there and adding, even just little funny, jokey things or whatever.
Yep.
But that keeps people, knowing that we're still around and still doing stuff, and that's definitely a plus for us.
No, she's awesome at it.
Yeah.
I definitely know that. It's hard. People think keeping up on social media is a walk in the park. Well, let me tell you, fuck you.
It can be exhausting.
It is not. It's my show. I can say it. It is not easy. Oh my God. It's not. It's hard work.
It's usually the weekends that I'm the worst because I get up and I'm just like, oh, I have to figure out something to post.
Yeah, see,
really?
weekends are my easiest, but it's hard work.
Right.
So,
Oh, yeah.
all right, let's throw some shout-outs. We have Miss Jen B. Of course, we have my hero, Nicole George. Oh, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
We have Miss Kim. Now they're talking, so they're going to throw off my thing. I'm going to say I'm toy. Miss Kim Purvis. KPRS, which is Aaron. Yeah, hi.
Aaron, what's up?
Kelly. We have Jen B. We have Miss Mama Pat, which I find funny. You call her Pat, I call her Mama, but it works.
She doesn't answer me when I call her Mom. She'll anywhere else. If somebody says Mom, her head spins. But if I say Mom, she's just it's like I didn't speak.
It's like
she hates me. I'm pretty sure
I called her Mama for like 6-7 weeks, and finally I'm like, is it okay that I call you that? Because and she's like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, good, because I already did. We have Cynthia from Raven Rose Paranormal. We have Miss Amy. Thank you, Amy, for joining us. I'm scanning. We have Wolf. I think I said Jen B. We have Kim Purvis. This is why Kelly usually does the end. We have Miss Alita. Alita,
would you like me to pick this up?
Alita has big stuff going on soon here too, which I'll be sharing. We have Mallory.
We had Matt and Mallory.
Yep.
This is what I get for half-ass listening. You said Cynthia and Kim and Shay and Pat and
I'm trying to see the people I already know that are listening.
A lot of people.
KPRS.
That's Aaron.
Aaron, what's up, buddy?
And
if we missed
Amy.
you, we're sorry, guys.
Can I throw out a quick plug?
Of course.
Real quick? So my brother and I, we had started up the Parafest Maine. We started that up a couple of years ago, and the first year
Parafest, awesome.
First year was pretty awesome. Last year was really awesome. We were able to get Amy Bruni to come up to it, and we had, I don't know, we must have had I think we had almost 60 vendors total. And we do a ghost hunt and everything afterwards. So this year, obviously, I'm down here. So he's doing it again this year for the third annual Parafest. But that's October 12th, I think, is when he's having that.
Are you guys coming back for that?
I don't know. We're gonna try to, but maybe not.
We made it last year. We're going to a Parafest coming up in a couple weeks here. Paracon in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But if let us know if you guys are gonna make it back for the October one.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely let everybody know if we can come back. The problem is with my job, I've got to be there for a year before I get vacation time. So
yeah.
And I just started it I still started down here in November. So
yeah, but it's a good job from what I saw.
yeah, it's going all right. So
yeah,
and Toni likes her job, but yeah, no. So it's a really good time. I mean, it's a great way to network and Vassalboro is a little ways away if you live in New Hampshire, but if you're in Maine, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So let's see what else. So let's I see no more questions, so I'm gonna get my calendar out because I don't know how you guys deal with me being sick. I'm like even worse than normal. So Sunday, we have the skeptic and the psychic. We have a paranormal enthusiast who has been dealing with paranormal activity their whole life, and she's going to be on to discuss it. There's no B squared on the 14th, but they will be back on the 21st. And on the 18th, we have Jay Warwick from Paranation Magazine, who actually... We had one conversation. He interviewed me for the magazine, and it was so great. Awesome guy. I can't wait to get him on the show. We have some really awesome people coming up on Shay's Paranormal Chat that I can't wait to announce, but I can't yet.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we have some pretty fun people coming up. So
not as fun as us, but
no, that's because I know you guys personally, so I love you. I love you guys. New shows. Paranormal Buzz Radio has three new shows also coming up. Into the Abyss with Peggy Gypsy starts January 19th. REP Paranormal and Friends starts Thursday, February 21st. Origin Monday, every other Mondays. March 11th starts March 11th, 8:30, 7:30 Central with Benji and Matt. So, and we have more. We have more things coming up, but those are the three that we can announce right now. So, you want to throw your Toby? You want to throw your Facebook and contact info out there again?
Sure. So yeah, you can follow most of our stuff right on Facebook. It's under South Carolina Afterlife Research Society. So, and then we also have the YouTube channel, which is under Maine Afterlife Research Society. But yeah, no, we appreciate you having us on. It was a great time. We enjoyed it thoroughly. So,
it went by quick. I didn't even get into half the stuff, but I'm also sick, so it's kind of.
Well, and I kept interrupting you, so that didn't help. But I was asking, you know these people I get to ask questions, dang it.
Yeah, that's why this works. So.
Absolutely.
Wait, what is... Yes, Jen, I saw the message. Origin is not starting until March. She PM'd, but I'm going to announce it. All right, guys. Oh, you know what I did now? Forgive me because I forget how to bring up. Here we go. We're going to end the show as soon as Shay can figure out how to. Oh, there we go. Because I had to mute Skype tonight, so I couldn't figure out how. All right, here we go. Thank you, guys. You guys are welcome back anytime. Let me know.
Thank you very much.
And we will share your page again tonight.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks.
For more information regarding what Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.